And for more on this story, we're joined by our Washington correspondent, Ketevan Gorjestani. Ketevan, this has been going on for some time. The original plan was to complete the withdrawal by September 11th, but it looks like it's going to happen sooner.
Yes, Joe Biden talked about August 31st, 2021. Now, that September 11th deadline was always going to be a symbolic deadline, marking, of course, the 20th anniversary of the 9/11 attacks. But the goal was always to get it done pretty much before then. This is now August 31st. And we heard Joe Biden saying that once he had decided to pull out, he wanted to do it as fast as possible because he felt that that was the safest way to do it. But he also had a message to those who say that it's happening too fast, to those who are asking for 6 more months, for another year. He said just 1 more year is not a solution, but a recipe for being there indefinitely. And he also had a message for those who say that maybe the U.S. must remain there indefinitely in one way or another. He said that he did not want to send a new generation of American troops into a war without a reasonable expectation of a different outcome. So for him, it was the right decision and it had to be done despite the situation on the ground. Of course, we're seeing the violence tick up, the Taliban making gains in Afghanistan. But Joe Biden insisted that he felt that Afghan forces were ready to take on the Taliban. He was asked bluntly whether it was inevitable for the Taliban to take over. He said, no, he does not believe that is the case. He feels that Afghan forces have been extremely well trained by the Americans and the allies, and that they're totally well equipped to face that onslaught from the Taliban. And he also insisted that despite this full withdrawal, America would stand by with the Afghan leaders, with Afghan people. But he said that the Afghans themselves had to come together and that the U.S. would be right there supporting them humanitarianly, but also supporting them security-wise from the outside.
And this is also keeping with the campaign promise that Biden made on the campaign trail. Now, he also made some promises to those who helped the U.S. during this long war, including translators and others. What did he have to say directly to them?
That the U.S. was not going to leave them behind, that they stood by the U.S. throughout those 20 years, and that the U.S. would now be standing behind them and do everything it can to bring those Afghans, those who want to leave Afghanistan, out and into the United States. He said that already 2,500 of those special immigrant visas had been issued, had been validated, and he said that about half of those visas, of those Afghans, had actually used those visas to come to the United States. But there is an increasing worry because of the situation on the ground that those Afghans, thousands of them still, including their families who are still there, who are still going through the process of that visa application, that they will likely face some retaliation from the Taliban, and that there is a bipartisan agreement that more needs to be done and much faster to get these Afghans, those who want to get out, to get them out of there. And so Joe Biden insisted that they were doing everything they could, that he was working with Congress to try to pass a new law so that this visa process could be streamlined, to break a little bit of the red tape, to make it much faster. He also confirmed that they were going to start flights out of Afghanistan in August to take those Afghans still in the process of applying for that special immigrant visa to either U.S. facilities outside of the mainland United States, but also to third countries in the region or further, so that these Afghans who want to get out can get out very quickly and can wait for their visa process to be approved in a safe location. That was really his message to those interpreters, those translators, all those people who worked with American forces throughout these 2 decades, really telling them, giving them the message that the U.S. is not forgetting them as it is pulling out.
Yeah, it looks like time is really ticking for that to take place. Ketevan Gorjestani, our Washington correspondent. Thanks a lot.